Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
FF episode 2028. 2028. Wait, I can't. Yeah, 2028. That's what it is.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Something like that. That's going to be a year, you and I will see. Hopefully, that's what I say. It's been an interesting Monday. And part of it has been because, well, there's this thing called the economy, and it's starting to fall a little bit. It's fallen quite a bit. It's fallen, not done well.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
As you know. Thank you, COVID-19. And so, as we are
Mike's
going through
Daily
this quarantine,
Podcast.
this life together,
Yeah!
it has been an interesting ride, and some businesses have decided to, well, cut back on the pay that some people are getting. Perhaps even where you are. Not always the best thing, not a fun thing. And I could sugarcoat it and be, oh, it's all like, you know, just part of the times, and I'm a team player and all that. But it still hurts. It demeans you a little bit. So, anyway, that's happening at Cafe Anyway. Yes, Cafe Anyway has decided to cut my pay. Thank you, Cafe Anyway, run by Madame Rootabega. Chely Shoehart has had to shutter. Chely Shoehart shuttered, say that 18 times, the gift shop. And so that hasn't made any money. And so that's how it is here at Cafe Anyway. Oh, happy May the 4th. Bum, bum, ba-da-da, bum, bum. Yes, Star Wars. I saw the first one 1,000,000 times. I am exaggerating, but still, it was like 7. I remember the number 7, going to the theaters 7 times to see it. That stuck out of my brain. And that was before George Lucas put his little greedy fat hands into it and changed all the wonderful special effects.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Thank you, South Park, for making fun of that, by the way. And saying, oh, my special effects in the 70s were horrible, and I'm going to use the current. Well, every couple years, the technology for special effects gets even better. So guess what he does? He updated it. He's updated it several times. When I found that out, I was, what? That's all on YouTube, by the way. And you can see all the times he's updated stupid little scenes, like with Han Solo shooting the guy with the weird fake. So first it looked all fake, which was great. Basil loved it. I loved it. And then they CGI'd the alien later. And then there was a scene that was not even in the first Star Wars. He's upset as I am, Basil and I. By the way, he's doing much better. Thank you. Basil's doing much better. His appetite's doing well. Just do not give your dog pig ears. That's all I'm saying, because that seems to be what the root of all the problems has been. Oh, it's just a little too much for the dog. Now, if you live in the South and you want to get yourself some pickled pig ears, well, you all get some. Get you some right now, because that's good eats. So, as you know, George Lucas just, well, enough of that. And Jabba the Hutt, that scene that wasn't even in the original movie. When I saw it 7 times, there was no Jabba the Hutt scene. You didn't know about Jabba the Hutt. You heard about him and didn't actually see him until the 3rd movie. That's right, and I call it the 3rd movie, even though technically it's the 6th in the trilogy, or the Ninology. Yes, we finally meet him in the Return of the Jedi. And that was great, because that was a big, funny Jim Henson type costume. I just don't care for it anymore. But there's news. There's news today that Taika Waititi, he is going to be directing a new Star Wars film. He's the guy behind Thor, Fraggle Rock, and other things. Jojo Rabbit. He made the Thor movie really funny. I enjoyed it, but he played an alien in it. He's got a great sense of humor. He worked with the guys from Flight of the Conchords. So cool. That's the big news of the Star Wars world. And I will stop bashing Star Wars because maybe you don't like it if I do that. How about we talk about Gary Busey? Hey, this is Gary Busey. I saw Gary Busey one time when I was at Pepperdine University. I at one time thought, I'll get into TV. Even though I love the radio, it's in your blood. When it gets in your blood, you're messed up from there henceforth. Because then every couple of years, your radio company that owns you decides to give you a pay cut. That just happens. Every radio company that exists on the planet gets a pay cut at some point. But I see Gary Busey one day as I am working for a news station. I was interning for free, which, by the way, interning for free, and I talked about this on my, I think, maybe the first podcast or the first time I ever posted anything on Twitter. I think I did a long blog post about something about how you should, as an intern, never work for free. And that's evil, a company that makes their interns work for free. It's evil and terrible, and they exploit people, and it should not happen anymore. It happened to me all the time. When I was younger, getting into radio, I did all this free work. It's terrible. So get into radio right now, kids. Gary Busey, by the way. So I was going to go see, I was trying to see if I could get into TV, and I was interning and doing that all for free, and helping with a basketball game at Pepperdine University right there in glorious Malibu. And Gary Busey walks by where we were all standing around, which, by the way, that's TV. That's film. That's the film industry. It's just standing around waiting for something to happen. I did not care for it. My dad was in the film industry. He loved it. He played cards with people. He had a great time. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we were bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. So Gary Busey walks by. He's on his way to the gym. He's going to work out at Pepperdine University. And I think he did that because he lived probably right across the street. But he is going to host 6 episodes of Pet Judge on Amazon Prime. He's the Pet Judge. This is the guy that when he had a show on Comedy Central in the late 90s, early O's, he explained to the television viewer, which was me at the time, and I was horrified as he explained this to me, on how to eat roadkill. Yeah. Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan's biography title has been unveiled. It's called Finding Freedom. There, because you were wondering. They're working with writers for a tell-all biography. And there is clashes over the Phase 4 legislation. What? Yes. It could exceed $1 trillion and include negative payroll tax. What's that? A negative payroll tax. Under discussions are 2 key proposals. A payroll tax holiday, which is an elimination. It eliminates the payroll tax. And a so-called negative payroll tax, a wage subsidy that the government would give to employers who would then pass it on to their employees to ease the craziness that they are experiencing in life, as I aforementioned at the beginning of the podcast. So that's what they're working on. Meanwhile, students are demanding that colleges refund tuition and fees. More than 24 schools face lawsuits. Students saying online courses are no substitute for the real thing. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. They're filing lawsuits seeking refund from schools that moved to online courses during the coronavirus. we'll see where that goes. I'm sure a lot. So is that the tip of the iceberg? What about all the other stuff that got changed because of the coronavirus and people are going to sue because of that? Now I'm thinking it's a little ridiculous. I think that maybe colleges should be sued for other reasons, like, I don't know, charging way too much or just having no parking ever available. Oh, what is it with every college and you have to pay these crazy parking prices? Even when I was doing a little community college about 10 years ago, I had to pay these crazy prices just to park for about an hour every day or every couple days. So yes, May the 4th. And the other thing, I was having a great discussion with my lovely lady friend today about those big changes in life, in specific divorcing. When you divorce or when you break up with someone, let's just make it less dramatic and just not as financially crazy as a divorce is, but let's just say you part ways with a loved one or someone that was a loved one, and then their friends, you thought they were your friends, the friends of your partner, then go away. They take sides. They go away. They go and they stay and stand behind. Did I forget to tell you what the podcast picture was? Oh, yeah. Okay, it's me and a horse. It's not Nilly, not Benita the Rodeo Queen's horse, but she was on the last show, if you want to listen to that one. That episode was episode 2027, and it was called Park because the picture featured me and Basil the Boxer at the park, which we did that on Saturday. No, I'm talking about the thing about, the family, the relatives, these people that you got to know so well that were the family and friends of your partner. And then when you split with the partner, those people go away. And they just, it's like you don't exist. Like you're dead to them. No emails, no texts, no calls, nothing. And the whole world changes. It's a very bizarre experience. I think my ex-wife did not really experience that because, I'll be honest, I don't have a whole bunch of friends. I have, maybe when I was married, I have a lot of friends, actually. Now that I say that I'm seeing that I'm completely wrong. I have a lot of friends now that are my friends' friends. Back then, probably not so many with her. Maybe that was a whole weird dynamic that was going on with the ex, but my friends were only her friends. So when the divorce happened, those friends all went away. The family all went away. And it's amazing what we go through in our lives, that we have to change and the upheaval. And we have to dig down and go, you know what? I will survive. I will Gloria Gaynor this. I will get past it. I will find a reason to believe. And you have to believe in yourself. And sometimes you have to go back in your mind and remember the times when you before all the things, where you had to be the person that you were before this person had been in your life, and you go back in time. And it's there in your brain. You just sometimes have to dig a little. And it took a little time for me. And 2013 was a terrible year. And there was a lot of soul searching going on. But better things came. Things were happening down the road, and I just had to hang in there. And in the end, it will work out for you. But it is amazing, the upheaval and just the things that you leave behind, because it is painful. And when these friends that were once your friends, but they're actually their friends, the ex's friends, and you go thinking, once upon a time, we had a pretty good friendship, it seemed. But then it was built on nothing, and it vanished. And remember the time we did this and that and the other thing, and it meant nothing. It just vanished. It was like if your future self could go and go back in time and tell you at that moment that you were having a great time with this person and go, this person's a flake. You're never going to hear from them again once you get a divorce. I'm going to get a divorce? What? Yes, this person's a flake, a fair weather friend. You will find out later and you're going, what? At that moment, you don't believe it. I guess that's what I'm saying is life can be interesting that way. Look who's here. Look who it is.
Hello, Michael Master. It's Madame Rootabega, and this has been a very interesting podcast. Ooh.
Yes. Did you enjoy the part where I was talking about May the 4th?
Yes.
How about the whole thing about when life changes and throws you into a complete tailspin and you eventually recover? Did you like that part?
Yes.
How about the salary reduction part? Did you like that part?
No.
Yeah, that part sucked. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, I'm glad to hear that the dog is doing better there.
Yeah, dog. Do you know that?
Thanks, guys. That's great. So this has been FF episode 2028. What do you think about any of the topics we covered on the show today? You can call me 336MM Daily. That's 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM as in Mike Matthews, Daily as in what this podcast has been. Almost has been. We had a little interruption yesterday. I had a wonderful walk with my lovely lady friend. We walked for about 3 hours, went through some beautiful countryside in Podcastro Valley. It was wonderful. Needless to say, I had no time to do a podcast, and I had to watch a crowded house. One of my favorite bands of all time. They're from New Zealand, Neil Finn and the guys. They did a live concert. This was a couple years ago, and it's on YouTube, and we watched it, and we were up to like 1 watching it. It was awesome. So I was busy. Sorry. But we'll try and keep the show going. And for the next show, we will have the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!